Is 5K enough to start an Airbnb business? Now, the answer to that question is yes. I know that's surprising. You probably hear like 9K, 10K, 3K, 1K. I can do Airbnb with zero, with no money. But what I'll show you today, I'll break down what you actually need before starting an Airbnb business. And with this 5K, I'll break it down by showing you the actual money amounts as well. So let's do that right now. Chances are you'll be able to start a business with much less than 5K, but let me just show you generally what is needed. So when people say 5K, people get confused because they don't actually know what the 5K goes into. Let me just show you. These are magnetic, by the way. Anyway, number one, Airbnb business, right? So what's the first step? Start a business. How much does it actually cost to start a business in the UK? Like £20. But what we recommend is not this. Spend a little bit more, get your address hidden and get your mail forwarded to you by PDF. So spend around 80 to 90 using a certain website. This website allows you to, number one, hide your address so it's not publicly visible, because if not, then what will happen is anyone can Google your business, they can find your address. And obviously, I'm not saying you're really going to get hunted down and shot or anything like that, hopefully anyway. But it's just one of those things that it helps you a lot, just having that sort of assurance that your address is not public, sorry. So 80 to 90 pound gets you a company incorporated, the right SIC codes in place, and also with that certain company, for the whole year you'll get like, forever, as long as you're with them, you will have a virtual office with them, and what will happen is all of your letters will get sent to that office. They will then send you a PDF scan, so it's as if it's coming to you anyway. So that's how much you initially need to get that company incorporated. And if we're doing that in cash, what is that? It's about 9 of these, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you can see that deteriorate. 9. This is how much you've spent. That's now gone. Okay, fine. I'll just write it down here in case you want to take notes. Incorp. Now, they actually have a company. We focus on the next bit, which is getting insured, right? Last thing you want is to house people, to house guests. Someone like, I don't know, their kids are there, they slip over, maybe fall down the stairs, something like that, God forbid. And a case comes your way. If you don't have insurance or anything like that, or even if someone isn't happy that you're holding their passport for a stay, which is necessary, and they want to make a claim or anything like that, if you don't have any cover or don't have any care, what you're going to have in most cases is they're going to use legal aid, and you're going to have to use potentially legal aid, or if they don't let your company use it, then you're going to represent yourself. So it's you versus a lawyer. How do you think that's going to go? Poorly. So you get your insurances. Insurances can cost roughly, we'll call it 350. In 350, you get all of your insurances covered. Sorry. So I'll just write insurance here. Insured. That's probably getting a bit waspy. So hopefully you can still see it. But yeah, that's 350 gone now. So that's 50, and then that should be about 300. So this is all the money we've spent, and this is how much of your savings we still have left. Okay. Yeah, bang, bang. Okay, now that you're insured, let's actually focus on what's gonna be the basis of your business, which is generating assets. And the way that you're gonna get those assets, or the things that are actually cash flowing, will be by speaking to landlords, negotiating, and then actually getting a deal over the line. The money that you need to get a deal over the line is this. I'm writing black first and I'll tell you how much after. So what you will actually need now in the bank, available, is enough for the deposit, which is based on the rental amount. So for people that are getting confused, like, oh, how much do I need? How much do I need? How much do I need? That is fixed, and this is a range. The deposit will be a range. Now, let's say you have this amount and you want to like sort of cheap out in terms of like on this particular deposit. And cheaper doesn't always mean better, but in most cases you don't have to spend like, high rent doesn't always mean high nightly rate and stuff like that. So what we'd recommend is, if you are on a 5K budget, you probably shouldn't be looking at London. It's not impossible, but like it just makes it a lot harder. It just means that you're stretching that 5K a lot more. So let's say you're looking at the Midlands, or you're looking up north, or you're looking at surrounding, like areas surrounding London. Let's say your deposit is, for a 3-bed house, let's call it 12 to 1300. Again, it is a range, but again, this is something that you can control. And guess what else you can control? The furnishing. You are going to buy the furniture. No one's going to buy it for you. And someone told you how much, someone tells you need 10K to start. That's how much they spend. You don't have to spend that, right? I understand that they say they're an industry expert, but understand that a lot of this is your decision. That's fixed, this isn't. and neither is the furniture. Because what you're most likely going to be doing is taking on a unit which isn't already an SA, service accommodation. You're going to then turn it from what it is right now, which is probably at the long let, you know, unfurnished or like part furnished standard. You're going to take it to like a hotel standard, right? People call it the luxury standard. Luxury is obviously good. And if we're doing the cash as well, that's about, I don't think I'm estimating this right. That's probably 1,300, something like that. I don't know. And you've still got that. Anyway, furniture. So people say that you need to be hitting the hotel standard and stuff like that. Don't forget, hotels come at different price ranges, right? It depends what kind of nightly rate you're trying to go for. If this is your deposit, we recommend your nightly rate. Let's get a different color. Which one do you want? Should we pick purple? Oh, maybe not. All right, let's go red. Your nightly rate should be roughly 10% of this. So if you're going for this rent amount, your nightly rate should be roughly 120 to 130. That's the range you should be looking at. And if that's the range you're looking at, you can imagine that's not luxury. It obviously needs to be a very good standard, but that's not for that you don't need like gold everywhere and, you know what I mean, Versace like toilets and that. You don't need all of that, okay? People are overestimating, and what happens is if you spend loads of money up front on the furnishing, you're actually going to make it a lot harder to, number one, make your money back, and then number two, you know, go again. So what we tend to do is go in at a medium level, which usually costs around 2K, 2.5K, roughly that much. Because what you're doing is you're getting a good deal on your beds there. You're getting not everything brand new. Do not get everything brand new. You're basically just paying unnecessary amounts of money, right? You're always going to need to maintain. So why buy something that's completely brand new? It literally doesn't make logical sense. So use sites where you can be quite like clever. Use sites where it's slightly discounted, and then basically what you're going to do is you're going to furnish it and bring the standard up. And when you are furnishing, sorry, it makes sense to be clever about it. Don't be wasting your money and just buying stuff that doesn't make sense. Each of those pounds that you have to imagine when you're starting out, every pound is meant to have a high ROI, right? Because your business is, the whole reason of this sort of business is you're putting 5K in, you want to generate it back in about less than half a year. And then after that, what you want to do is make a profit on top of it. Because if not, you're better off leaving it in the bank. What's the point in putting 5K and then 12 years later having a 5K profit? It makes no sense. Okay, so you want to focus on cash flow here. And the way that you're going to build cash flow initially is by making sure your overheads are a lot less. Okay, so if we add all this up now, and that's about 2.5K, so that's about this much. So you should still have an amount remaining. I don't know exactly how much I need to calculate it, but it's roughly, yeah, so it's roughly, here we go, that's 80 to 90, add 350, add this, and add this. I believe that's roughly 4.1, 4.2 in that sort of region. I think it's exactly 4185. 4185. So that means you should have a good 900, you know, as a spare. You can imagine that's basically almost a month's rent up front that you have ready there. So you can definitely do it in less than 5K, as you can see with the numbers breakdown exactly. Just remember that even this can be dropped. If you go for a 1-bed flat to start off with, which is a big one, which you can convert into a 2-bed, then chances are you're going to save on the deposit. And if you go for a property which is higher furnished and already, or perhaps you find one that's already been running as a service accommodation, then that becomes lower as well. So imagine these are your only fixed costs up front, and you can save yourself a lot of money. So when people are saying certain things online, take it with a pinch of salt and make sure you're actually thinking for yourself, because all of this is what comes into it. Like, there's no complications about it. So that's all I really have to say. Like, we're breaking it all down. As you can see, you got a good 900 there. Save that for rent. Make sure it's there in case your business needs it. And yeah, that's all I really have to say today. So I hope that was helpful. And any other questions you have, leave them in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and see you in the next.